Got up early. I got up at 5:30, and I prayed and I meditated, and I've been doing it all. And I just want to acknowledge where I am right now. And part of it is that I have been in this part in my life where I was always the one who blew things up. I wasn't for rules ever in my life. From the time I was a little kid, like Joshua's age, I was always asking why things had to be done the way they wanted to do, and always wanted it to do things the opposite. And now that I'm older, I won't say old, but I'm older, I'm the one going, no, there's rules. There's order. And I've gotten to this place where I appreciate it. So much so that I've written 3 books, now 4, on the rules and the process of achieving abundance and prosperity in your life. That there is this formula, that there's this way of being that exists. And the latest is this. It's the Absolute Abundance Access Abundance Toolkit. This is published by Unity Worldwide Headquarters. It's on sale downstairs here. You can buy one of your own for $20 or take the workshop today. And it is a self-guided toolkit, not unlike if you ever did, Julia Cameron's. The Artist's Way, thank you. Struggling for the name right there. The Artist's Way of a self-guided toolkit, a workbook that takes you through the process of creating more wealth, more abundance in your life. And so we're going to talk about this a little bit more. But at the same time, what's really going on for me is that the true process for abundance is about blowing up rules. The true process of abundance is about not fitting into any predetermined blueprint for how to be or behave. It's not about being like anyone else. It's about being uniquely and wholly and completely yourself. So there's this great paradox that I've spent my last decade writing books and teaching courses and doing all this work on how the principles of abundance work. And where I've gotten to is that the most important thing is to be absolutely you. And as I was going over it this week, when Misa was going, well, what are we singing as a solo? And I was like, this song. And she said, that's an abundance song? And I said, yes, and wait and see why. So I'm going to invite Cleo up here because she exemplifies the character from this show. So this is a song from the movie Encanto, if you've seen it, and she's playing Isabella. And Isabella is the favorite child, the perfect daughter, not a hair out of place, always magnificent in everything she does. So I thought Cleo would be the perfect person to sing this song. Right? But the reality is that Isabella in this story feels trapped by always having to be perfect and to create things that are symmetrical and in order. And in a fight with her sister Mirabel, she finally says, I don't want to do that. I'm doing it just for the family. And in that moment, she created something she had never created before, something irregular and odd, and it blew her mind.
I just made something unexpected, something sharp, something new. It's not symmetrical or perfect, but it's beautiful, and it's mine. What else can I do?
Bring it in, let's talk. Bring it in, bring it in. Bring it in, bring it in. Bring it in, let's go.
I grow rows and rows of roses, flor de mayo by the mile. I make perfect practiced poses. So much hides behind my smile. What could I do if I just grew what I was feeling in the moment?
Do you know where you're going?
just knew it didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be, and they let me be a hurricane of hot caronas, strangling figs, hanging vines. Palma de Cera fills the air as I climb and I push through. What else can I do? Can I deliver us a river of sundew? Careful, it's carnivorous, a little just won't do. I want to feel the shiver of something new. I'm so sick of pretty, I want something true, don't you?
Just seem like your life is a dream, and since the moment you opened your eyes,
How far do these roots go down?
I know that the blossoms that grow, but it's awesome to see how you rise.
How far can I rise through the roof to the skies? Let's go! A hurricane of jacarandas, strangling figs, hanging vines. Palma de Cera fills the air as I climb and I push through. What else? What else? What can you do when you are deeply, madly, truly in the moment?
Keep going.
What can you do when you know who you want to be is imperfect, but I'll still be okay.
Everybody clear the way.
I'm coming through with Tabe Booyah, making waves, changing minds. The way is clearer 'cause you're here and well. I owe this all to you. What else can I do?
Show them what you can do.
What else can I do?
There's nothing you can do.
What else can we do?
Cleo Briggs, Callie Carvajal, and Misa Malone. What else can I do? Woo! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. What if you didn't just have to be perfect? You could just make something and it would be good enough. How much energy do we expend feeling like everything we produce isn't good enough at work, at home, in relationships? That, oh, we're not going to measure up to what's expected. I won't even try how often I heal because I can't do that. When the history of the world and the real truth of abundance is that showing up exactly as you are and who you are is exactly what the world needs. We don't need another Elon Musk. Really. We don't need another Misa Malone. There is already one. Don't try and be Misa. We don't need another whatever. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your spouse. What the world desperately needs is for us to show up exactly as we are and do the things that we are here to do. And if you don't believe me, look at these examples. Did you know that Walt Disney was fired from the Kansas City Star in his 20s because they said he lacked imagination and had no talent? True story. So he quit, left Kansas City, and came to California and started Disney. No talent or imagination, right? Wow. Being fired from a no-end job as an editor of the Kansas City Star was the best thing that ever happened to him. Made him get out of there and come and do what he was supposed to do. And there has only been one Walt Disney. But look what's happened since with Pixar and all the other, and DreamWorks and all the other amazing animation studios. And even the song we just heard from another Disney musical. Right? Wow, what a world we live in because of this man who was himself, period, like no one else. Did you know that Mr. Bocelli, Andrea Bocelli, was a lawyer into his 30s, right? And finally quit being a lawyer because it wasn't fulfilling him and went into singing and wasn't immediately successful. It took several years of him trying to become a singer before he had his first breakthrough, right? Oh, wouldn't it make much more sense for a blind man to stay in a safe lawyer job than to take a risk on being an entertainer? And what the world would be missing if he had never done what he did. Julia Child was a spy. Okay, she worked for the CIA. She wasn't actually a spy, but she worked for the CIA. And it wasn't until her 40s, you're getting a pattern here, 20s, 30s, 40s, wasn't until her 40s that she discovered on a trip to Paris her love of cooking and entering Paris cooking school, and then started writing her books. At the age of 49, when she became successful in it, she finally said, I finally found my passion, husband and pet excluded. That this was what she was here to do. Ronald Reagan, despite the politics, what you might think of him, had a career, but shifted in his 50s and ran for office for the first time. And there was nothing about his acting career or his political career at the beginning that would suggest that he would go on to be a two-term president. Yet he persevered, and he did. He's an example of that it is not too late to shift a career, it is not too late to start something new, and it's not too late to make a difference. I would make a difference than Ronald Reagan did, but I'm not running for president anytime. Because I don't want to. Laura Ingalls Wilder. She was the author of The Little House on the Prairie. She published the first book of it at the age of 64. 64! And she became famous and has changed the lives of how many people in the world by those books? 64, folks. Okay, here we go on. Nelson Mandela spent years in prison, and given his life, highly unlikely that he also would become a politician, right? And at the age of 76, he became president of South Africa. 76. Is it too late for any of us here? And to be who we truly are? He was a radical fighting against the tyranny in South Africa, against the unfair and unjust and inhumane oppression, and was jailed for it. And went on to become a peacemaker and statesman. It is never too late to make a difference, and then you can be who you truly are every step of the way. Dow Portia Lynch, this one I love. She's now transitioned past 100, but into her hundreds, she was teaching 12 yoga classes a week. I wish Rain was here today to hear this one. Oh, I go back. Sorry, went the wrong way there. But at 87, she had an accident and fell outside of the grocery store and broke her hip. Her doctor brought her in, she was saying, and said to her, Dow, it's really time to slow down and really start taking life more easy. She took the opposite track. She joined with a partner and became a ballroom dancer, winning several competitions in her age group well into her 90s, and living and wrote books and health, how to eat diets, all from that time after she broke her hip. Yeah, okay? Betty White started hot in Cleveland after a long, successful career at the age of 92, and won several Emmys for doing that. It was nominated for several Emmys and was the oldest person to ever host Saturday Night Live, which she received a special Emmy for. And we just lost Betty this year, right? 90s into her. She made it to 99, I believe, just short of 100. And then we all have heard of, but you may not know, that Anna Mary Robinson Moses, Grandma Moses, started painting at the age of 100. She was featured on the cover of Time magazine. She only picked up a paintbrush, she made it to the cover of the Time at 100. She picked up the paintbrush in her 90s after her arthritis made it impossible for her to crochet. right? And who's not on the list that's like that is Alexander Calder, the famous artist. You may know him for his mobiles and other things. After he had some diseases and a stroke, he could no longer paint like he used to paint. So he would lay on his back in his bed and cut out pieces of brightly colored paper and arrange them on things that his assistants would help him with. And his mobiles, his decoupage, that kind of painting went on to sell millions, all the time unable to get up. Right? The most important one for me is this one. For some reason, Albert Einstein, after he graduated college, couldn't get a job. Now, maybe it was his hair. I don't know. Maybe it was that he paid no attention to his clothes. But finally, after 2 years, a friend gave him a job as a proofer, checking patents that other people had installed, applied for patents at the U.S. Patent Office. And it was a menial, no thinking process kind of job. And later, Albert told his biographer, it was the best job I could have ever had because it gave me time to think and to imagine. And we have the theories and the breakthroughs that Albert Einstein made because he just had a job that was a job and allowed him to be who he really was. He talked about it as that's where he hatched his most beautiful ideas. So if you're seeking and you want, which I know all of us do, want an abundant life, and I use the word abundant very specifically rather than prosperous. We sang money, money, money at the top of the show, and money is important because money is just energy. It's a way of getting what we desire. But it is, as we said, we don't let it change us. Money is just a vehicle for doing the things we need to do in the world. So I use the term abundance because abundance is the free flow of ideas. Abundance is joy. Abundance is love. Abundance is relationships. Abundance is work that sets you on fire because you can't wait to get to it. Abundance is that overwhelming feeling of, oh my God, how rich my life is. And that comes from giving. That comes from service to others, to ourselves. Abundance is leisure time. You're going to hear a little bit about it here in a minute. But a group of 7 of us went to Unity Village last week. Sorry we missed you. We really did. But boy, what an abundant weekend it was. Lisa and I met at Unity Village. It's a special place. And we were there in the same car, in the same house, laughing and talking and sharing and getting to know each other and fighting over the bathroom and doing all the things that families do and blessed by each and every moment of it. Now, it's a gift that we had the time to go. It's a gift that we had the resources to go. It's a gift that someone gave us the house for free. It was a gift that there was a structure and place that people who came and took care of us. They left us a golf cart because Unity Village is big, so we could tutor around in the golf cart if we didn't want to drive. And it was just one blessing, and someone made all of our meals. It's like, you've been on retreat. You know how that is? It's like all of a sudden, wow, I'm taken care of. That's abundance, folks. And it has something to do with resources, but it also has to do with being open to the flow. And I've been thinking a lot about this because there's been historically a lot of attention given in spiritual places, in churches, into the idea of tithing. And we talk about tithing here as tithing of time, talent, and treasure. Right? Time meaning your own spiritual nourishment, the time you give to study, to prayer, to meditation, to enriching yourself. Talent meaning volunteering, helping, being of service in the world. And treasure is our financial resources. And all 3 are important. But what really struck me, what really came down to, and what has come of all these writings I've done and the years and years of teaching this is that it is not about a magical number. It's not about a preordained amount you should be giving in time, in talent, or in treasure, but it is about the idea of not hoarding. It is about the consciousness. And if you think of the concept of a hoarder, right, that they are so closed off and holding on to every little scrap of paper and every little bottle and every little thing to feel safe, but they're not open to a joyous life because it's all about collecting and keeping rather than being in the flow. That's true with giving of time. If you want more time, volunteer. If you want more time, make it by giving. I don't have time to do my volunteer work, but I do it. My husband's the same way. He doesn't have time to volunteer work, but he volunteers 4 hours a week on the crisis text line, talking to people who are thinking of harming themselves. That's important work. And he does it every week. He's diligent about it. Right? And while we have to structure it, it feeds us so much. In my studies, if I don't go away like I did and get refilled, listening to someone else teach, going to another church, if I don't do that, my well starts to run dry here, and I don't feel the same impulse when I stand up in front of you and want to talk about what the lessons I'm learning are. I have to go learn the lessons. I have to be out in the world. I have to hear. I have to do it. I have to tithe of my time. And my treasure is the same way. If I get scared about money, I can feel it constrict me. And I feel like that hoarder. And it's like when I give with joy, when I write the checks, when I fill up the basket, when I get the request and go, yeah, I'd love to give to that, then I can feel that there's more and more coming. And we just recently did that. JD and I just made a big gift. And I went to the mailbox the other day, and I opened the mailbox, and there was a letter from the IRS. I was like, oh God, here we go. Right? First thought, even your minister, first thought, opened it, it was a check. And it was a check for $10,000. And my first thought was, okay, this has to be a mistake. But no, it was actually our tax refund. And I was like, oh. I teach this, and still I have to know that there is more than enough. And I expect, my favorite affirmation, I expect unexpected income. I expect unexpected income. And yet I was still unexpecting that income. And that's why the affirmation works so well. Because in the flow of life, the universe has unlimited ways of rewarding you for the time you give to your own spiritual development, rewarding you for the talents you share with the world, rewarding you for the financial contributions you make to the world consciously, joyously, purposefully. Because when you are open like that, your life is no longer small. Your life is beautiful. And bells ring everywhere you go. There's alarms ringing in your head and in your purse saying, there's more money here. There's more joy here, right? Victoria, is that money coming to you? Sorry, that was just too good. Thank you. So my purpose of today is each and every one of us find our way through that. Find our way through this idea of how to be in the world, to be open to the giving and receiving, that flow. Because giving is receiving. There really is truly no difference. And it became really clear to me when I thought about my friends and family members who have been, and myself, who have spent time hoarding and holding on so tight. I want to breathe in to this teaching more, to see everyone not just being pretty, but being special. Seeing what else can we do? What else can we create? What are you really here to do? Like Walt Disney, like the 100-year-old yoga teacher, like our own centenarian here in the house with us today, that we're going to celebrate her birthday downstairs, I'm told. Yay! And what is it that you're really abundant with, pregnant with, ready to give to the world?